Hello, I'm Jerry Lotz. Happy Monday. As we begin our second week of practicing social distancing, I'd like to lessen the distance between you and I and share some more things about what it is that I do and invite you to do the same with me. And I'm sure there are opportunities where we can help each other. The last episode, I pulled out my friend, this Big Mac, McDonald's Big Mac, and shared the analogy of comparing a Big Mac to a building. Company CSSI that I work with breaks out and puts dollar values on the all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, etc., that make up a Big Mac or a building. So they would go and place values on decorative molding, the beams, the roof structures, etc., that make up that building. So out of that 27 and a half year or 39-year depreciation schedule for the whole building, they will find assets that can be carved out and put into a 5, 7, or 15-year depreciation category. Examples of the 5-year category might be carpets, cabinets, moldings. Some things that may go into a 7-year category might be the outside storage sheds. And things that could go into a 15-year category would be the landscaping, and even the lines on the parking lot can be depreciated more quickly. So I gave you an example. We just finished a building some time ago. It was a gut and a renovation of a big old apartment building. There were about 70 units in it, and the total project for the owner was about $7 million. So when I talk about the assets that can be depreciated and pulled out into a 5-year category, here's an example of some of the things that we found that could be placed in the 5-year category. Things like the cabinets that were worth $156,186.87. And on down, significantly, there are a lot of dollars that can be reclassified into a 5-year category. This next piece that I'll hold up gives an idea of some of the things that could be put into a 15-year classification. Things like the site work, landscaping, parking lots, some of the, like the dumpster enclosure, can be put into a 15-year class. And then, of course, the remaining structural components stay in a 39-year class asset. So in my last episode, I talked about how the Tax Cut and Job Act really puts cost segregation on steroids. Here's how. The Tax Cut and Job Act says that any assets that are less than a 20-year class life, okay, so the assets that we're able to find and reclassify into 5, 7, or 15-year class life, so they're less than 20-year class life, they can actually be written off, not in 5, 7, or 15 years, but they can be written off 100% in that first year. In the example that I showed using a straight line depreciation method, that client who just spent $7 million, massive project on this building, would have only been able to write off about $125,000. Now we come in and do our cost segregation work, and we are able to find $1,250,000 worth of assets out of that 7 million that can be carved out into a 5, 7, or 15-year classification. Now remember, the Tax Cut and Job Act says that things that you can pull out and reclassify can be written off 100% in the first year. So had that client not done a cost segregation study, they would have had to stroke an additional check to the IRS for $450,000. So imagine $450,000 worth of additional expense had they not pursued a cost segregation study. Our fee after tax to complete that project was a little less than $8,000. So they give us $8,000 and they save $450,000. That's over a 50-to-1 return on their investment. The next episode, I'll talk a little bit more about CSSI and cost segregation on steroids. Thank you for watching. I'd like to invite you to share some details with me. I'm sure there are opportunities for us to help each other. In closing, be well, be safe. Blessings until we meet again.